What's up, a Cinema Shogun here, and man, it is hard to believe that a year has passed since Gabby Petito's life was tragically taken by Brian Laundrie. It is so hard for me to believe that a year has passed since we covered the Gabby Petito story right here on this channel. Man, does time fly. But you know, the Gabby Petito story was one of the original stories that brought all of us together. And if you've been here with me on this journey ever since then, I would like to thank you all for the support. But in this video, I want to look back at the Gabby Petito case because it's been a year now. You know, this year flew by and her parents and her step-parents had some nice words to share over on Twitter. Let's go take a look. Exactly 1 year ago today, you were taken from us. We miss you every day. We cry every day. You have inspired so many to live, travel, and to leave their unhealthy relationships. We love you, Gabby. Exactly 1 year ago, our beautiful daughter was taken from us by the hands of another. We miss you so much. Our hearts hurt. Forever broken. Forever missing you. Forever we will love you. 1 year ago, your life was cut short. You are my inspiration every single day. I miss you more than words can express, more than words could ever express. We will keep going and we won't stop spreading DV awareness. Please light up the night in honor of DV victims. Gabby Petito's parents are asking that everyone lights up the night tonight in honor of Gabby. But as I look back on the Gabby Petito case, you know, it pulls out certain emotions because, don't get me wrong, I've looked into true crime cases before. I know all of you all have as well. I was looking into true crime cases before I had a channel. I've looked into a couple ever since I've had the channel. But never in the history of my life have I ever gotten so emotionally attached to a true crime story, if you will. Like, I was really connected to the story for various reasons. And I think that we had fun over here on this channel covering the story. Don't get me wrong, it's not a fun situation. But I did whatever I could back then to bring a little light and joy and lightheartedness to a devastating situation. And when I look back on that case, it's just almost unbelievable, all the things that happened. You know, I just wonder, like, in the future, someone's going to get into true crime and they're going to look through cases and they're going to go back and look on this one or look at what happened with this one, and their jaw is just going to drop. It turned into one of the most crazy, bizarre situations I had ever seen. We got Dog the Bounty Hunter banging on people's doors. We got people with bullhorns out in the street yelling 24/7, pissing off neighbors who eventually came out and tried to fight them. It was just nonstop madness. Every day there was something new. There was an interesting cast of characters surrounding the whole situation. And I'm not talking about Gabby or Brian Laundrie. I'm talking about the people, you know, this case attracted. And we would watch every day. Literally, do you all remember? Every day we would wake up and just watch the outside of Brian Laundrie's home. And every day some new, weird, crazy, entertaining things happened. We had planes flying overhead with messages to the Laundries. We had people, well, I'll admit it. In one of my Brian Laundrie videos, I made a joke because Brian Laundrie's parents were outside gardening in the backyard. And everyone thought it was weird. It's like, hey, your daughter-in-law is missing. Your son is missing. We think something tragic happened. And y'all are out here, you know, tending to your garden. So people were trying to figure out what was going on. And I made a joke. I made a joke in my video. It wasn't serious. It was a joke. I made a joke that maybe when Brian Laundrie's mom was going down to plant things in the ground, maybe she's just sliding carrots to Brian Laundrie, and he's living under her vegetables, her garden, and it was a complete joke. Yet I woke up the next day And the theory was already out there. And people were dead set on believing that Brian Laundrie was living under their garden in their backyard. He had a hidden bunker under their garden, and they were going back there to slip him snacks and Capri Suns. It was hilarious. It was so hilarious, man. I'm just trying to think of all the crazy off-the-wall things that happened back then. It was just, I'm just thinking about all of the people who were outside of their house screaming and yelling, and man, did it turn into just something that I don't think anyone ever expected. But now that I've looked into the true crime community a little more, now I don't put nothing past anyone. I think we've all seen how crazy it can get, for sure. But yeah, this case was one that really stuck with me. It was one that I was fully invested in at the time. And still, even to this day, I feel like people still have a little bit of questions as to how things went down. But the Gabby Petito story is not over. Gabby's parents are attempting to take Brian Laundrie's parents to court. And when and if that does happen, I will be covering that. In fact, I may be even at the courthouse covering that. Also, there's an update that I didn't get to update you all on because I was on vacation when it happened, and then a lot of other stuff happened afterwards. But Gabby's parents are suing the Moab Police Department now as well. You know, you might remember during the Gabby Petito story, one of the biggest pieces of evidence that came out, one of the biggest things that everyone was cross-examining was this video of Brian Laundrie and Gabby getting pulled over. Of course, we had cops talking to Brian Laundrie and we had cops talking to Gabby. People dissected that footage, went all over it, and went absolute balls to the wall crazy with it. Well, now the Petitos are suing that police department because they let Brian Laundrie go and they let Gabby go about their way. So that's another lawsuit. Everyone thought that the Moab Police Department really mishandled that situation because, I mean, if they took Brian Laundrie or if they separated or did something differently, maybe Gabby would still be here. Now, I don't hold anything against that police department. I feel as if they were trying to be nice. It's one of those things like, if you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You know, people's relationship with law enforcement in this country has been really rocky, especially back then. I mean, it's still rocky now, but a year ago, it was even more rocky. And it's like if police do, you know, overreact or do something bad, all hell breaks loose. And then if police try to let someone go and try to be lenient and try to be nice to them, all hell winds up breaking loose. So I feel like officers in that situation were damned if they do, damned if they don't. I don't feel like they were bad people. I feel like they saw a young couple that were getting into it and they didn't think there was really going to be much more to it, so they didn't want to follow up with it, if you will. But it winded up backfiring. And of course, we know what happened to Gabby. And now Gabby's family is suing them as well, and I will be covering that as well whenever more details about that come out, and we'll see how that plays out. But I want to know from you all, what do you remember most from the Gabby Petito case? What's the one thing from this entire situation that sticks out the most to you? I would like you to let me know that down in the comments below. And I know there is so many things to choose from. So many things to choose from. But what I will say is this as I close out the video. I hope that Gabby, or at least Gabby's parents, realize what an impact their daughter had on the world. Because make no mistake about it, I believe that the Gabby Petito situation, as horrific as it was, and we wish it didn't happen, but I can't help but feel like, how can I put this? It sounds weird, but it's almost like the world was a better place after everyone looked into the situation, because now I feel like more people have had the courage, like Gabby's father said, to step away from destructive relationships, to step away from people who you think might wind up offing you. There's so many young people these days that are stuck in relationships with people who just absolutely destroy their lives, rip them down, tear them apart, put their hands on them physically. And I feel like the Gabby Petito situation raised more. This is what I was really trying to say. Maybe it's the world isn't a better place. Maybe that was not the right way to word it. But the Gabby Petito situation did more for raising awareness about DV than I think anything has before. Maybe I'm wrong, but as far as I can see and as far as I can tell, I think the Gabby Petito situation opened up the door for conversations that we all needed to have. You know, we talk about tough conversations on this channel all the time. Those tough conversations that everyone wants to shy away from. And maybe if we were having those tough conversations before the Gabby Petito case, maybe that wouldn't have happened to Gabby Petito. But the Gabby Petito case, make no mistake about it, it opened up the floodgates. It opened up the door for people to not be as afraid to speak out about what's happening to them. It opened up the door, literally, for people in harmful relationships. And they walked straight out that door after seeing what happened to Gabby. And I'm not just talking about women, I'm talking about men as well. I mean, I covered the Johnny Depp case on this channel. We know that men can be victims too. So at the end of the day, as horrible as this situation was, I do believe a lot of good came out of it. And I do believe that there's still going to be more good to come out of it. And I cannot believe that a year has already passed by. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all on the next video.